Alright everyone, Pokemon Chem here. Unfortunately, didn't really get a huge restock this week. Those are the packs we have ripped, and now we have the one thing we are fortunate, and I shouldn't say we're unfortunate. I mean, we're opening a booster box of Pillow and the sleeves here. We're able to pick up 36 sleeves from our wonderful Hobby Lobby. So we're just gonna go ahead and break these down, and then we will continue with ripping them and see what we get. Alright guys, all broken down, and again we have our 6-packs there. Those are all of our spent packs, and we're gonna see what we get. Alright guys, let's get started. So Mega Evolutions is honestly one of my favorite sets recently, and I know that people, again, get a little more light here, have kind of hated on the set a little bit, said it's mid and whatever, and that's their opinion. I think that's fine. We can just enjoy it anyway. I really enjoy the set. I think it's wonderful, and I'll give you guys the code cards too. Sorry, I'm gonna work on that. Anyway, I figured I'm just gonna record this long content. It may end up turning it into a short if we get something cool, but even if we don't, I think a lot of this is Pokemon. To me is people say it's gambling. I suppose, like, there's value regardless, and it doesn't all have to be monetary value. Sorry, I missed Chi-Yu there. Don't want to forget that. Surfing Beast is amazing. Latios, so cool. Lieutenant Surge's Bargain, Volcanion, Dialga Hollow, Fire Energy, and of course the beautiful green code card. I don't know, I like it. Sometimes you just like what you like, and I think the gold cards, I know that's like, oh, we've always done gold cards, but never like this. These are like, some sort of like Egyptian cool setup Bulbasaur. They're not, I don't know how to say this, to me they're not the same as they have been. Ooh, another Shroodle. We love the Shroodle. Shroodle's cool. Alright, I'm gonna put them there so you can see them. And then Raikou Hollow. Look at this Raikou Hollow. Beautiful. So gorgeous. But I just like this set. I think that they did a really good job with this, as well as, we're all really excited about Phantasmal Flames. I went crazy with Inferno X. Ripped way too many, and I shouldn't say way too many because we got the gold card, right? It's like, at the end of the day, we got the gold card. That's really what it was after that. And the Mega Charizard, kind of on the fence as to which one is my favorite. It's hard because they're both beautiful in their own right. The Mega Charizard, I might grab it and talk about it a little bit, honestly. Just because I really like that card. What do we have here? Probably, yeah, when they stick, they tend to be the Mega EX. We have Mega EX Bomb Snow. But what I was saying is I just, I love and I'm excited for the Mega Charizard SIR card. I think that's going to be really cool. I think that's the other one. Here we go. So, just breaking it out here real quick. Tightly packed. I mean, that's a beautiful card. I agree. I don't have, and this card right here, like in English, I'm going to go nuts for. But I think just almost universally, I'll put these down so I can just hold one. Universally, great job, right? Amazing, beautiful artwork. We have all of the evolutions of Charizard, and I love it. So, Mega, people are saying mid and all this other stuff. I feel like there's better ways to spend your energy than hating on something, and it's just my opinion. It's my opinion that I think they did a great job. I think Pokemon did an excellent job on that set. I love Phantasmal Flames or other Inferno X, and when it comes out, I'm very excited about the possibility of being able to rip that. So, and everyone's different, you know, you don't have to like everything. Some people really like certain sets and other people no, and I get that. We all have different tastes. We don't all wear the same clothes. We're all just, you know, like that Sandslash. I love that. That reverse holo is golden and beautiful. So cool. Mega Abomasnow again. I think that when we, you know, we're looking at today's hyper modern Pokemon, and people are like, oh well, you know, it doesn't have the same vibe or XYZ, etc. It's not as cool and the old, but you know, like you look at vintage Pokemon and there's just so many cool ideas that are utilized when they're making these cards, like that Chikorita. How cute is that card, right? And Helioptile, just like different arts, more of a cartoonish Abra, Inteleon sitting there doing bubble rings or something. Wally looking like an anime character. Pyroar, that's beautiful. Almost like a Lorcana art. Like, you really just break all of this art down. Lunatone. Well, except for Lunatone. I'm kidding. No, it's okay. But you break down the art, and I think that there's just a lot of work that goes into this that's not really celebrated because people are like, oh, well, you know, you can hate all you want, but at the end of the day, I think it's cool. And because I am the one that's paying for this product out of my own pocket with my own hard-earned money, I reserve the right to enjoy. And I hope you do too. I hope that you guys enjoy. I'm not a seller. I don't really sell things. I mostly just buy. And like they're all so cute. Stuffle, having a good time like we all should. Strange Timepiece. Celebi, again, Celebi, gorgeous card. Volcanion, and then the Fire, another Celebi. And then we have, what the heck? Okay. Reverse Holo Celebi, Reverse Holo Stuffle, and Holiday. Like, it threw me off. I was like, what's going on here? Anyway, I love the set. I think it's cool. I think that people that hate on it are welcome to it, you know? That's the discourse that I think we have in our democracy, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. And it's great, you know? People aren't always gonna like, they're like, oh, Mega Pokemon were mid when they came out, and you know, that's your right to feel that way, and that's fine. No one's gonna hate you. Mega Venusaur. No one's gonna hate you or say that you're, you know, a bad person for liking what you like, or maybe they will, and that's, I guess they're right. But when it's your opinion, you know, you just kind of roll with it. I think that if other people affect your opinion like they often do these days, that maybe you need to fortify yourself in your position and decide what is it that you like. You know, like Destined Rivals, everyone's like, oh, $700 booster box case. And you're like, okay, cool. Like, I like Destined Rivals, but I'm not in the near future gonna, but Gimmighoul, so cool. I'm not gonna be paying $700 booster box. I just think that's it makes the hobby harder for me, not easier. Mystery Garden, beautiful. Oh, such a good card. Anyway, to me it just makes the hobby harder when you're sitting there. You know, it's such a crazy time to be opening packs and everything, but there's a lot of interest. You know, I started my channel because I love Pokemon, but being able to share it with other people, you know, I grew up in a time when base set was the thing, and we were just trading Pokemon and show cool ones and all that, but I never thought that Pokemon would be this crazy. And now that it is, you adapt. You're like, okay, cool, we'll adapt. Cinderace is cool. So, anyway, my 2 cents on the issue. But mostly what I hope is that everyone is respectful, you enjoy the time, you hopefully even learn how to deal and work with people versus against them, because I think that that's kind of the essence of Pokemon. My opinion, of course. Like Ninetales, come on Ninetales, how cute are you? Gorgeous. I think I see something. What is Determination, Reverse Hollow, Klutzer, and then a Mega card. Beautiful. So that's a gorgeous card, which is beautiful. And will the Mega EXs ever make like super cash? Maybe like in 20 years or something, but is it about the money or is it about the enjoyment? For me, it's about the enjoyment. People that know me know that I open a lot and I have a lot of fun, but it's fun. It's not for monetary gain or for anything. I want the cool cards, I do. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like some guy that's not trying to hunt every cool card out there. That's why I went for the gold card for Inferno X. That's why I go after the gold cards for the English versions, you know. And I think we all want that. I don't think that that's... I think that it's a little ridiculous to say that you don't want that. Like, oh, I'd rather have the regular cards. Or, again, going back to the whole player thing, I get it. You know, maybe the players have certain cards that they enjoy for playing, and that's great. I think that's great. But for me, and again, I'm gonna start playing. I do want to play because I think it would provide a little bit more utility for my common cards. So it's a function of utilizing my funds, we'll say. If that's a term that works. Let me move this over so you can see some cards while we're opening. Utilize the funds and really the resources that I've invested more comprehensively. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. Now, does it mean that I'm gonna go super hard and playing and enter tournaments? Not necessarily, but for some people that's what they love. And do I hate them for it? No, I think it's very admirable. I think it's very admirable to enjoy what you love. But I don't think, and I think that it is a mistake, especially these days, that a lot of people let other people tell them what to enjoy, how to enjoy, etc., etc. And that is the chill FOMO, hypo, or FOMO, or whatever you want to say. Just enjoy it, you know? Whatever you decide to do, commit to it and enjoy it. And if you think that, you know, you get tired of... I used to hit the Pokemon centers where I live because we have a lot of them, and it just got to be too much. That's pretty cool. Got both. Alright, and then another Lunatone. So, anyway, that's my rant on this whole issue that we have these days with Pokemon and everyone being like, oh, well, you know, everything's crashing, everything's not crashing. You know, Megas go into 1,000. Some people just like to hype things and stuff. And I think that's okay. You know, you can have your opinion. You know, that's why we live in this great country with freedom to speak however you like. But also I think that, and again, this is my opinion, it has to come with a degree of, I would say, how do I say this correctly? A degree of respect for another person's opinion. I don't think that you should attack and destroy someone that you don't agree with. I think the discourse of camaraderie, and I would even dare say brotherhood, if that was something that people believed in these days, is really important. So that's my soapbox on Pokemon and everything, and I'm sure everyone was dying to know. But I talk about it because I think about it often. I watch both sides of the spectrum. I watch people that are like, oh, you know, I was watching the whole Pokiani and the beautiful Attend Search Bargain. Team Rocket Joey drama has been going up this week, and I'm like, good. I'm glad that you guys are having discourse, you're having discussions, that you guys disagree with each other, and it's great. I think that's great. You know, when we can't disagree with each other and can't have separate opinions, then that is a problem. And I have mine, which is I enjoy Pokemon. I enjoy opening Pokemon, looking at the beautiful art, appreciating those cool cards. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys have seen some of what I have, and you see that I like the cool chase cards. But it's not just about those. So I'm building master sets. I am currently in the process of building an entire Scarlet and Violet, as well as Sword and Shield master set, or master sets of each one. And it's a big project, but it allows me, you know, I was chasing the Moonbrand for so long. That's why I like posting about Evolving Skies. And when I finally got one, there was just some sort of relief that I got what I wanted, you know, and I was happy. Now it's a fleeting feeling, I know. You know, we get something we want when we finally get it. It's what do we do now sort of thing. And Pokemon also helps with that, because then we can find the next thing that we like and enjoy. And I think doing so appropriately, safely, and in a way that we all can enjoy is fine. That's kind of hard these days, because, you know, you see all the fights and you see all the whatnot drama and people scamming people. I myself have been scammed a few times now, and I try to be careful. You know, you try to be careful, but is it going to happen? Yeah. And what you hope is that it just doesn't happen too much, and just be careful. You know, like I'm dealing with one scam right now, or it's not a scam, but just bought from a certain online website. I don't want to bring them up by name, but they had really bad issues with black and white, and so I bought a case of ETBs, and I never got the case of ETBs, but then I never got the refund, and they said they sent it out, and they denied my credit card claim for the chargeback, and so now I'm dealing with that, and it's just energy. You're like, dude, I almost want to let it go, but then I read about how this company no longer has a website, has done this for years with sports cards and other things, and I have a problem with that. So I have the fortitude as well as the resources to go after them, and I'm gonna get my money back, because I'm like, you know what, like, I don't like people that do that, and I can respect and appreciate the fact they probably had difficulties, but when you promise something that you can't deliver, you need to make it good on those things, in my opinion. Maybe an old school thought, but I also think that, like, just so we're clear, the whole scamming and everything and Pokemon I have a really hard time with, because people use it to make a quick buck instead of actually enjoying it. But that's the mindset that I have. That's not necessarily what everyone thinks or even should think. You know, it's not their problem to be, you know, my personal people that have to believe what I want. But my hope is that we can live in an environment and enjoy cards in a way where we can respect the opinions of other people. And I disagree with the whole, I will not join any whatnot streams because of just the fulminant scamming that I see going on there. People just canceling orders to keep cool cards, but then selling the idea that you can get it, and then justifying it by saying, oh, well, I gave him something else. It's like, cool, man, well, you're not honest. So if you're not honest, then you have no integrity. If you have no integrity, what sort of value do you really have? And that's my opinion. Again, I'm not saying people are worthless, but I'm saying that I grew up, to some extent with the idea that your word means so much. And so when you say something, that you do it. And that integrity is social value that allows you to be someone better. And I don't mean better than other people, but to be one that is reliable. And to me, that's probably what's most important. To be reliable, to be someone that not only other people, but your community can lean on as someone that's good. And to some extent, again, taking it back to Pokemon, and I'm kind of ranting here, but taking it back to Pokemon, that's, if you really look at those, again, I'm a Kanto guy, I love the rise of Ash Ketchum, but if you go back to Ash's journey, he was, to some extent, a nobody that came out of a town of no one, and he had Professor Oak, of course, but he turned himself into someone, again, not just a brute, bashing trainer, that, beat all the Pokemon and was the toughest guy, but he had a certain love for his Pokemon and integrity to do the right thing, and those are the people that I can look up to. Again, obviously a fictional character, but someone that we can all aspire to be like. And all of my heroes are those people, the people that take the hard road and do the hard thing and are, beautiful Helioptile. I love this card. See, it's not worth $1 million, probably never will be, but a beautiful card. Beautiful. Meganium. Anyway, I could rant all day about this because it's something I think about often. I feel like a lot of people these days work more on social clout rather than social integrity, and that, without shaming other people respectfully, I think that is a way for social degeneration as opposed to an improvement in our social economy, I guess, if that's the right word. Anyway, so back to Pokemon. Love Mega. Mega's great. Mega's cool. Mega's awesome. And it's a little crazy. Phantasmal's gonna come out and people are gonna forget about black and white, and they look black and white now. I have one of the BWR Victinis, and I was still hunting that Black Bolt Victini, but it's just hard to find, and I've pulled a White Flare one. Oh, cards are cool. But these are cool cards, they're just cool cards. There's nothing wrong with having cool cards. Anyway, and I've pulled the Black Bolt and White Flare BWRs, and I have the SAR and the BWRs in Japanese, and eventually I'm going to get the prize card, the Red Victini in Japanese, that I'm going to eventually get one. But those sort of things, those purchases, are some that you wait for. The waiting game is it's sometimes difficult, or not cool, but worth it, I think. There's a discourse that I read when I was younger. It talked about time and how good decisions can be bad decisions just based upon time. We were interviewing a man who was dying, and on his deathbed, he mentioned it's all about time. It's all about time. And I have to say I agree. Time tells most things. And anyway, but these are the rants of me Sandshrew. How gorgeous. This reverse holo as well as the Riolu are amazing. I love them all, but specifically those two really are gorgeous to me. Anyway, I'm doing a fair job at the code cards, I will say. Pat myself on the back. Job well done. But, you know, and again, I like to have fun on streams and talk a little bunch of nonsense and have fun with all sorts of people. Enjoy mini streams, and I enjoy many beautiful cards. But the enjoyment is important to me. To some extent, another full picks. I love this card. Beautiful. To some extent, though, we have to remember that when this becomes, I would even say toxic these days, is probably the right word. That's a problem. And it shouldn't be that. You should enjoy, you should have fun. And again, these are shoulds for me, I suppose, because I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just some nobody doctor that saves lives and opens up Pokemon and sometimes other stuff. So. But sharing my opinion is, I guess, to some extent, what I would choose to do, because this is, after all, the content that I'm making. And anyway, it's fun, it's enjoyable. I think that we all can enjoy this hobby eventually. Once this bubble pops, which it will, we've seen it before. You know, I actually decided not to buy Pokemon during the bubble during COVID, and I missed out. You know, I thought a good decision, missed out on a bunch of cool stuff. Now in retrospect, I'm paying dollars more, sometimes hundreds of dollars more, because I missed out. So there's definitely a balance. There's definitely a balance, and we can choose what we choose to invest in and what not to invest in. And I think that's the best we can do, is just say, hey, you know, I choose to invest into this because I love it. And that's your right. You know, and I hope that you do. I hope that you stick to your convictions and believe in what you choose. And if you don't believe them, then I think that it's very becoming of someone to say you're wrong and pick an improved path. And I feel like a lot of PokeTubers give a lot of sound advice. Obviously from their own perspectives, like the investor bros are going to say, hey, invest, and the collectors are going to say, hey, this is too expensive, and you may miss out, actually. You know, you may miss out on some really great cards at what you thought was an inflated price, but it turns out to be a discount, and, you know, with time. And I could be wrong, you know, but hearing those and hearing other people's opinions, I choose to try to invest appropriately. Like these packs I get from Hobby Lobby, not at market, they're below market, and I get to open them and enjoy them with you guys. And you know, if we get something cool, that's even better. Which I think we may have, just barely. Whatever that is, I don't know. But even if, you know, we don't get the gold card every time, and we don't, you know, always just crush, it's okay. Like this Mega Camerupt, beautiful card. Beautiful card. And I love the full arts, like I said already. I love all the cards, they're beautiful. But they all have different meaning to me. And they'll probably have more when they start learning how to play and do all that sort of thing. You know, maybe I'll look at a deck very differently. I was at the store, and I just went and looked for Pokemon. I know it's kind of, we all have done this, where you go back and it's just like those plushies. There's at Walmart, there's bunch of plushies and other stuff there. And I went to Target afterwards. Oh, Bulba. So pretty, Bulba. And they had just restocked, but then they restocked sports cards this week. And it was, you try. And so I went back to Hobby Lobby, and they were like, oh, we have, they had plenty of cards. So I felt comfortable grabbing 36. Leaving some for the rest, of course. And there's like a few hundred packs still there. But everyone wants a deal too. They're like, oh, below market is still too expensive, which you're right, in your opinion. But it allows me to say, okay, well, I'm going to pay this premium, I suppose, so that way I can enjoy these cards. And that's my right, because I've earned it. So, anyway, whatever you choose to do, I hope you enjoy. Hope this is not something that makes your life worse, but better. Let's spread these out and take a look, and then we will call it a day for this. So, not the best or the worst hits, but a bunch of beautiful cards. Set these up maybe even semi-parallel. Okay, so we have a few megas, beautiful. Mystery Garden, let's do this right. Let's get Mystery Garden, beautiful Mystery. And Mega Camera. So, not the best hits, but enjoy them, because we have the opportunity to open them and do this together. So, thank you so much for watching. I don't know that I'm going to post this entire long video listening to me rant about my own opinions about Pokemon and everything, but I hope that you all enjoy, and that this hobby, which it is a hobby, it's a collecting hobby, that it enhances your life in the better. So, have a great night.